with that said, Coach McKenzie, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it to you. I'm gonna give you the host so you can do your presentation.
Okay.
And the floor is yours.
Okay, so let me just share, get this in here, and hopefully everybody can see, and then we'll go to, what do we want to go to up here? We'll go to slideshow. Okay. So get rid of this stuff here. So first of all, let me just start off by saying I appreciate Coach reaching out to me. I think he got an opportunity to share, to watch this presentation that I did for a group of coaches around the country. And one of the things, I mean, one of the personal missions, things that I personally enjoy is not only coaching my kids and using the game of basketball as a tool to influence lives. But I appreciate now as an elder in the game, being respected enough by young coaches, uh, that to be able to share my knowledge. And I was saying to somebody yesterday, I think I read a book a long time ago by Napoleon Hill. And in that book, it makes a statement like having knowledge and not sharing it is like having an atomic bomb and not dropping it. And so I just want to make sure that in the end, if you got questions, you want my contact information, I just want all of you all to know that I'm available. I'm gonna get started. Hopefully it works here. Can everybody see the screen? If you can just give me a thumbs up, if that's if you do. Okay, great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off by bringing you hopefully into my locker room. This is kind of a pre-game kind of deal that I did with my kids in one of our in preparation for one of the games that we played during the state, regional tournament. So hopefully this works. If I click on it correctly, we get some play here. It has been working. My video. Nope, is it not gonna? Okay. Let's see here. So, okay, so maybe we won't get that one, but we'll. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Technology, I tell you, I mean, it worked last time. We don't get it to work this time. But anyway, let's go into. So the bulk of this today is our presentation is Coach Like a Champion, building a championship program. All right, I guess now the video might be loading. Is that what's going on? All right, we got some technical kind of things here, but be patient with me. I'll be patient with you all. So, give you a little bit about kind of my style, a little bit. Get this going. And Coach Mendo, if somebody pops up and I don't let them in, just let me know so we can get folks added here. So, it's taking a little while. I guess we'll get it.
You'll be able to see all that because you'll get the notification to just admit it.
Yep. I've done that. Yep. So, okay. We're going to get there. So be patient. Probably should have had this set up prior to. All right. Here we go, fellas. Inside North pregame warm-up. Let me know if you're ready to play after this.
We can't see it though, Coach.
You cannot see it?
We cannot.
Okay. I don't know. You are sharing. Did that come up on the screen?
Nope. What we have is your presentation with the coach.
Oh, okay. Let me get back to where
So
we're at then.
you may
So
have to minimize that PowerPoint for that to pop up. I don't know if that will work, but just give it a try.
Let's see if that is what's going on. Okay. Is it there now?
So I just
I tell you what. I mean, it's a video. Oh, you just what?
I just gave you host activities again, and hopefully that works now because it wasn't working before. It does say you sharing though.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I can get out of this though now. Because somehow I got to get back to my presentation. Said I'm sharing my screen, but you guys can't. Trying to get out of the video to be on right now.
Well, you're sharing the screen because we can see the Coach Like a Champion Building Championship Program.
You can see that.
We can see that part.
All right, I can't see that on my end. So that's what I'm trying to get back to. I'm trying to get back to that on my end. Okay, here we go. But I don't see my PowerPoint. Okay. So, all right. So anyway, we talked about building a championship program. So a couple things that one of my favorite quotes is this: is a coach will impact more people in 1 year than most people over as a lifetime. And so when I start talking about getting ahead of myself here a little bit, I'm trying to get back to my screen. Okay. All right. So let's start from here. So again, we're going to talk about building a championship program. I've already talked about one of the things that's probably the biggest issue for me is a lot of times I don't think a lot of people that get into this understand the importance of and the influence that coaches have in terms of how they're molders of kids' lives. And you know, the one of the things is when I listen to professional athletes and I listen to people all the time, whenever they begin to thank people who've influenced their lives, they always thank their mom and they always thank their coaches. And so a little bit about my background, coach has already told you, you know, a number of things that I do. I've been blessed to win 6 titles and, you know, a number of awards. But the most important thing for me is the impact on the lives of the young men that's been in my program that I've had. And so I always like to start off with this. I think most of us that get into coaching, and most of you guys that are with me today, when you start out, you know the what and the how. But I think in terms of building a championship program, is
Coach McKenzie, sorry to interrupt. You're kind of staticky all of a sudden.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it got real staticky.
Okay, and nothing changed, so I don't.
There you go. You back on now.
Okay, I don't know what happened because nothing changes. So, but anyway, so one of the most important, I think, that I would say to all of you all, no matter where you are into your coaching career is you've got to ask yourself. So the most foundational thing for me in my program and what I do is understanding the why. The why. Why am I doing this? And it's not about winning games and all of those kind of things. And so I think that's where, as I said, people understand the what and the how, but most guys that get into this don't understand the why. So one of the things that I like to talk about, that what coaching is and what coaching is not, right? So I won't read all of this, but I'll kind of highlight that you have to love what you do in terms of coaching. It's got to be about the why. And it's not as much of a love for the game as it is a much of loving the kids and the people that you're around and that you're working with. And so our job is to, and so my personal mission in all of this is this. I tell people I use basketball as a tool to impact the lives of young men to become champions in the classroom, in the community, in their families, and on the hardwood. And that's what this is to me. So that is part of my mission and vision that I just shared with you. And so when you look at Minneapolis North basketball, that's what we do. We want to offer kids an opportunity to compete in a program that's going to be competitive, that's going to be successful. But the whole idea in the end, and you've heard this said before, is to use the game and don't allow the game to use you. What coaching is it? And so it's not, coaching is not something that you do. It's got to be who you are. It's got to be who you are. It's not I don't know about you guys, and one of the challenges that we have is that we have people that want to coach from November through March. They want to go into practice from 3:30 to 5. It's not a profession where there's set hours. It requires a lot of extra. So there's no set hours in doing this. It's not about egos. It's not about your personal agenda or any of those kind of things. And I know a lot of times what you guys are doing, one of the things that I see too many guys get caught up into, trying to develop a name for their program, for development, building a name for their program and those kind of things. If you do the right things, those opportunities are going to come. It's not about making money. Coaching for me is more about outcome than income. And those of you that's involved with traveling basketball or high school basketball, you know that it's not. You don't do this for the money. Also, what I would say to young coaches, one of the hardest things to do is understand that coaching is not doing what's best for you. It's about doing what's best for your athletes and your team. And I say that to say this is because I know a lot of times, especially with kids moving around and going from team to team and all of those kind of things, we tend to have guys that we treat differently, right? And I don't say, and I tell everybody, I don't treat all the kids the same, but there should never be a player that's bigger than your program. There should never be anybody that's bigger than your program. And so you can't make decisions around your best kid, your best player. You got to make the best decision for all the kids in your program. And sometimes that may be, and it has been for me, that may mean getting rid of your best player. It's not all about championships and hardware. It's about really caring. You guys have heard this. Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's real. It's not about X's and O's. And I would change this in that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You guys have heard that. And so it's about the journey and the things that you learn along the way. I am always, every single day, trying to get better as a coach. And it's not about you. It's about the others around you, coach. And I'm going to share this, out of this presentation. So I was blessed to get a Bush Fellowship. And one of the things on that journey that I discovered is I always thought that I was a coach about about empowerment, allowing my assistants to do this and do that. And what I found out was, even though I said that, what my expectations was, I still wanted them to do it my way and how I would do it. And so I really found out that I had a trust issue. I'm telling you guys that is because not season before last, I had a team. We finished second in the state, losing to Minneapolis. But what I discovered is when I let my coaches, I gave my coaches tasks and I let them go and I let them make their own mistakes and let them do it this way, I got more out of those coaches and that team than I've ever gotten before. And so sometimes as a head coach or person in charge, you have to get out of the way. And your assistant coaches may not do it the way you would do it, but the same way that you take an opportunity to learn, you got to allow that to happen with them as well. I put this right here. We got to understand that you are a role model, but I always like to say our job as coaches is not to be role models, but to be real models. Leadership starts at the top. Leadership starts at the top. And so I am one of my mentors used to say, you can't teach what you don't know. You can't lead where you won't go. You can't teach what you don't know. You can't lead where you won't go. So I don't expect my kids, if we're doing a fundraiser, I'm going to be one of the top sellers of candy bars, towels, whatever that we're selling. If we're collecting garbage, service project, whatever that is, coaches is going to be up front. Coaches, you must lead by example. And again, I mean, with all of this technology, and I mean, we've got a small group here. So one of the things is, kids don't listen to what you say. They look at what you do. Kids don't listen to what you say. They look at what you do. So they're always watching. They're watching how you deal with your own kids. They're watching how you deal with your wife. They're watching how you deal with your significant other. All of those kind of things. And you have to be conscious of that as a leader. As a leader. That you are the example. And I tell people, even, in 22 years, I've got 4 technicals. I can remember all of them vividly. Because I understand that in a heated situation, my kids are going to respond to my emotion. So that's part of the responsibility of being in charge and being a head coach. But you have to be the example. And so this is just some of our kids that we influence. Integrity. Again, lead by example. You can't. One of the things about being a coach, and especially working with in teenagers, they're gonna always be challenging you, trying to get you to move the line. You have to stand on those things that you believe in. And so for us, we talk about the non-negotiables, right? So like for me, all of my kids sign a contract. They sign a contract. You get a D. So I take grades every single week. I take grades every Thursday. We give out grade sheets every Thursday. I check every grade of every kid in my program. If you have a D, you can practice, but you cannot play in the game. It's a non-negotiable. And so you have to have those things. And I get kids and like, coach, I'm working hard. I'm giving my best. I can't do it. Well, you can't play until you do it. So you got to be careful about moving the line. But your as this says, your integrity. In the end, my dad was kind of a quiet man. My dad used to say, when your girlfriend leaves you, you ain't got no money in the bank. The thing that's got to matter is your word. And so that is your integrity, the stuff that you believe in. You got to make sure that those things that you believe in, you can't compromise. So you got to be willing to stand on it. You got to be willing to stand on those things. Again, we've already talked about this. You set the tone. And so you got to follow your own rules. you got to follow your own rules. And when I say that, we talk about kids being on time, and what is being on time. Uh, you can't you can't get on your kids about being late to practice if you're consistently late to practice. You can't get on your kids about not having on practice uniform or other kinds of things if you're not dressed appropriate. So all of the expectations that you have, and I put rules here, and I probably need to change this because a couple of years ago, once I had an opportunity to read Coach K's book. I'm a big Coach K guy. Um, it's about having standards and not necessarily rules. And when you have standards, and what we do is at our team retreat, we bring our kids together every year, and we say, okay, what are going to be the standards of this team? And I think I go through this and some of those things. But so one of our things in terms of communication is that when I'm communicating with you, I'm going to look you straight in the eye in terms of how we communicate. We're going to be on time. One of our things is everybody in. We expect if you show up to practice for everybody 100% if you're going to be out on the floor. So again, set the tone by following your own rules. You've got to get to know your kids. And I'm going to tell you, if there's ever a time, and I know all of you all, hopefully you've been in contact with your kids over the last week, but you got to know your kids. You got to know what's going on with your kids. And so one of the things that I practice doing is every single day, our varsity and our JV practice together. Every day, I let my assistants, while my assistant coaches are running drills, I personally spend a minute to 2 minutes with every single kid. And sometimes it's joking about how you and your girlfriend doing, what's going on, and things. Was lunch good? You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I check in with my kids every single day in terms of spending time. And one of the stories that I have to tell, I had one of my kids who was one of my star players when I was at Patrick Henry High School get suspended for stealing food out of the cafeteria. And the principal, wanted me to do some things and didn't want me to play. And I had to go advocate for my kid. What the principal didn't know that I knew was mom and dad was unemployed. There was no food in the house. This kid had been eating Skittles for breakfast for about 2 weeks. And we had been trying to provide some groceries and all of those kind of things. You all got to know the rules. You got to be kind of careful. But you got to know, it's just like you have. And so what we do is I assign 3 kids to every coach. And their job is also to check in, not about the grades, but I want to know what's going on with those kids off the floor. And those coaches, when we have our weekly staff meeting, they report to me, Coach, you should know Johnny Smith, they just lost their apartment, so they're homeless. They're down over at Mary's Place, that kind of stuff. And so we know that for those kids, we got to make sure that they're fed after practice because they may not get to the shelter in time to get something to eat. But you got to take the time to know your kids both on and off the court. This one of my favorite sayings is this, and so I was blessed to play with Andy Garcia, and if you've seen the movie Ocean 11, the beauty of that, and I use this with my kids all the time, know that somebody's always watching. And this goes back to the stuff that we were talking about before. As a coach, brother, we don't get to take off and put on the title coach. And I tell my kids all the time, I mean, if I go out and I have a couple drinks and I happen to hit somebody and, some tragedy happens, they're not going to say Larry McKenzie. They're going to say Coach McKenzie, boys basketball coach at Minneapolis North. We got to know that people are always watching us. And so that's part of the responsibility of being a real model versus a role model. But know that our kids are always watching. They're watching it, And here's the thing that I would say to you young guys. Some of you all may be getting into coaching at some point if you're not always right. So your best player, you say nobody comes, nobody, you got to be on time to practice. Well, you got that ninth grader who's not on varsity, who's down on the other end of the gym. He's watching when that kid come in late, how you handle that situation. He's watching how you deal with those juniors and those seniors, because one day you got to remember, and I always tell my assistant coaches, it's not about how you handle the upperclassmen. Always remember that those freshmen one day are going to be here, and they're going to see how we handle this situation. And they're going to say, well, when Tyler did this, you didn't do anything, Coach, so what's different? So again, non-negotiable, those rules. But you got to understand, there are parents in the stand. You always hear this. Why you treat this kid that way and that kid this way? You got to be prepared to deal with those kind of things, because, I mean, it's always lights, action, camera when you're in that seat as a coach. You got to make sure that you stay on top of things. You know, I'm a big believer. So in my program, I tell parents, I tell administration, I am the head coach. I'm responsible for all 60 kids at every level. If it's a program specific, if something's going on with my JV player, it's me, my JV coach, and the kid that's in the meeting. But I take responsibility for every single kid in my program. And so I have to stay on top of things, that expectation. Just a reminder that everything starts with, you know, you sit in that seat, everything starts with the guy that's, or young lady that's calling themselves the head coach. So here's some key components of what my program. So this is kind of a wide eye view of things that I look at in my program. So we have the academics and compliance. I always, and I don't know how many high school coaches we got, we can put that in, but I've been fighting my district right now, because unless the NCAA changes something around the clearinghouse, those districts that went to pass-fail are going to hurt the athletes, because the clearinghouse sees pass-fail, pass as a D. And so that may influence whether or not some kids are eligible. So you got to know what's going on around compliance with the NCAA and all of those kind of things. And so if you're not getting the weekly NCAA clearinghouse newsletters and all of that kind of stuff, I would suggest that you go online, that you sign up to make sure that you're getting those newsletters, that you understand that kind of stuff. ACT, SAT preparation. We just make sure that those things are provided to our kids online and bringing in people. And then we do mandatory study hall. So we have tutoring available to our kids after school. So they get out of school at 3:15. Study hall starts at 3:30. From 3:30 to 4:30 is academics. In that part of our program, you can go to a teacher or two to come in to work with you in terms of your academics. So our kids have no excuses to fail. And that's why we got a 3.4 team GPA. Coaching development. All of my kids, I have Google Gobs. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so I've got I've got 35 plus years of materials, notes, things, coaches, calculating, defense, offense, all of those kind of things that I make available to my staff. One of the requirements to continue to work for me, Coach Mendel and George and Richmond, I'll tell you this, is all of my coaches are required to attend a spring and fall basketball clinic, or I won't renew your contract. So you have to do that. The one thing that I'm proud of, my whole staff right now, if you look at Minneapolis North, I don't know if there's anybody else in the state, but in addition to having all the certifications of Minnesota high school basketball, every coach on my staff is USA Basketball Gold Card certified. And so we just, if I have high expectations for the kid, I'm gonna have a high expectation for my program. So you can see we're a member of NABC, that's the National Association of Basketball Coaches, High School League, Minnesota Basketball Coaches Association, National Federation of High School Coaches, and USA Basketball. So we, as a coaching staff, participate in all of those different organizations and certification. Then you'll see player development, scouting and preparation. We make sure that we're watching film, those kind of things. Obviously, we can't recruit in Minnesota, but I make a habit. I want to know all the kids who can play basketball in 7th and 8th grade in my community. And we try to get out, see those teams, see those kids, work with youth programs to talk about our program, make sure that we got kids who know what North basketball is and know what it's about. And we, just have our kids share their experience of why North is a good program. One of the things that we stay on top. So I run my program like it's a small college program. So I have a director of basketball operations. And so even on game day, we make sure that the person at the game have a game day script. We want to know who the officials are. He handles all of our travel when we go to hotels, summer workouts, make sure that the equipment that the coaches need that are there, that's his responsibility. So all of those game day and program operation, me and him literally talk every single day. So we've been working on our schedule. We've been working on our theme nights for next season. All of those things. I mean, even, and I'm probably a little bit more hands-on, I even get involved with who sings the national anthem. So all of those things come in. And then the community and marketing, we try to make sure that we keep a social media present, make sure people have our name, and we try to make sure that our name is staying out there. So you got gear, working with our booster club and fan club, fundraising. If you're gonna have a top-notch program, big part of coaching. So you got to be able to put together a fundraising plan to be able to sell your program. Handbook. I said at the beginning of the season, I have a letter and a handbook for my parents. Talk about how we select captains, talk about cuts, all of those kind of things, alumni relationship. So these are all important things to me building a championship program. Academics first. If I have one of my kids right now and put them on this presentation, and you would ask them the first thing, what's the most important thing at North basketball, they would tell you that we are student athletes. And I can tell you, of all that I've accomplished in my career, of everything, and I've been blessed, I've had a great career. What I'm most proud of, 21 years, going into 22, high school coaching, 100% graduation in a district that has graduated black boys at 28%. 100% of my kids have gone to a 2-year or 4-year school.
Coach McKenzie, 2 things. I really want you to repeat that again, because I think that's very important. And also, it sounds like you're getting staticky again. Okay, or you've been staticky for the whole time, but you just started getting staticky for me. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear you correctly.
All right, let's see if this helps a little bit. Is that a little better?
Yep, we can hear you better now. Is that
okay? Let me get set up here. So okay, and I'm going to provide this. Anybody who wants this presentation or have any questions, I'll provide this for you with my email contact, and I'll send this out to you. Coach, is that better for you guys in terms of hearing me?
That is better. That is better for me. I can hear you better now. Menelik, is that good for you? Because you said it's been staticky for you. Okay.
Everybody's good. All right. So wow. I mean, and hopefully Yeah, well, we get asked questions if I posted something and you. But anyway, Coach asked me to say it again. So my greatest accomplishment as a coach in 21 years, I mean, I love the championship rings and all of that kind of stuff, is the fact that I've graduated 100% of my kids on time in a district who's traditionally have graduated African American males between a rate of 28 and 40%. We graduated 100% on time, and every single kid, 100% in 21 years, have gone on to a 2-year or 4-year school with our kids. From 1997 to 2020, I've had 31 Division I kids, full rides, from the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-10, to Summit. So I mean, at all levels. So they play from the Power 5 to low major college basketball. So you have to put academics first. And the thing that I tell kids, I mean, that I talk about, that you got to help your kids understand in a recruiting process. First of all, when you get that letter, you don't know if you're number 1 or you're number 100 in the recruiting process. And really the most important step, I've been blessed. In the time that I've been doing this, I have sat down with Roy Williams and Dean Smith, and I've been around some really, really great coaches. And I can honestly tell you, no coach has ever asked me about rebounds, points, or anything. The 2 questions of recruiting that I get: what kind of kid is he, and what academically. And so you got to make sure that you put your kid in position to have those opportunities by making sure that they're getting it done in the classroom. And obviously, with some of our kids going to 2-year school, sometimes that's been strategic, but sometimes that's because their freshman and sophomore year, the light bulb didn't come on, so it doesn't come on too late. And so the price of that is, you got to go to 2-year school, get it together, and then move on to the next level. So, here, academics first. We teach our kids about being a student first, and how that's important to their future. I'm big on my kids understanding that they represent what's on the front of the jersey. So every time that we're out there, it's not just about you. You represent our school, you represent our community, you represent your family. And playing high school basketball is a privilege, not a right. Not a privilege, not a right. You need to, as a coach, make sure that you work closely and in partnership with administration, teachers, and parents. And so we sent out a letter in November, late November, early December. I call it my A+ program. I send out a letter. I tell give all the teachers what my expectations is for my players. Here's my cell phone number. Here's my email. I want to know if they're late. I want to know if they don't turn in homework. I want to know if they took a test and didn't do well. Anything that I have to, and I'm available. Don't call my assistant coaches. Call me directly. So we provide that each season. And so we also, one of the things that we start off every year for 21 years, we start our season out with doing a team retreat. So I take my kids out of the season, out of the city, no cell phones, no cell phone service. We're far away. It's just us, and it's about team building and family building. And one of the things that I tell everybody, my kids, and all of my former players, we've got a great relationship. When you come play for me, you're not joining the team, you're joining a family. And so that's part of what we do when we're doing those retreats. I just talked about our A+ program. So this is the letter that we sent to administration. And so you can see there, help us win off the court. I'm requesting the following: all players sit in the front 3 rows when possible. Notify me by phone or email if a player is late or absent. Notify me if assignments are not turned in or whatever. Those kind of things. So it's a real accountability system. It's a real accountability system. This is And then I also raise money. So I have on my staff one of my assistant coaches, or I've hired somebody that I have as a life skills and academic coordinator. So they run my study hall and they work with our kids. We also do a life skills component. So 3:30 to 4:30 is study hall. Then we have a life skills. So we do weight training, yoga, chess, and leadership as the four life skill components during the course of the season. Athletic development, I mean, obviously, you know what that is. That's just making sure that, again, our coaches are staying on top of things, that we're trying to teach our kids the right way. And again, coaches are teachers. And I'm really, for me, I'm a teacher. So it's about doing the little things right. You'll hear me say, I'm always on my staff. Let's fix the little things. Little things. We don't want the little things to become big things. So that's the athletic development. And then the moral development is just really about character education. With all the stress in the classroom for teachers to make sure that the kids are passing the MCA and all of those kind of things, our kids are no longer being taught time management, integrity, honesty, all of those kinds of things. And so to me, when you hit that hardwood, that's my classroom. And so part of my responsibility in terms of making sure that I'm preparing my kids to go out and be prepared for the real world is that moral or character development. And so that is kind of a general overview of my approach to building a championship program. So, Coach, we can open it up. I don't know if you want to. I don't know how to give you back the.
I will take that back. Nah, I'll take that back here. I'll start you off with the question, and if anybody else have questions, please feel free to jump in. But you talked about having the life coach. Is that something that you do every day to kind of reiterate that to your guys, or is this you have set days that they?
So yeah, I get so it's a life skills and academic coordinator position, and so any day that we don't have a game, we're doing that life skills program. Yes, sir. So that's 18 weeks. That's 18 weeks, and even in the off season, we cut it. So typically, we play Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be study hall and life skills. Any other questions?
Coach.
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Hey, man, I feel like I'm looking at myself 20 years down the line. And that's definitely.
I hope that's a good thing, man.
Everything you just explained about your program, I do with mine. And I kind of feel like I got to step my game up from the standpoint of I thought I was just unique and elite, but it's like a mirroring image. And for me, it's more so listening to you, and we've got to know each other over the last week, just collaborating our players with the thing that Matt did and talking last Friday night. But my goal, right, I do all the things that I do because I want to make our players the best players that they can be, make my program to be the best program it can be. But ultimately, I want to do this at the highest level, right? I want to do it at the Division level. I want to be a Division I head coach. So when you say you've been doing this program for 21 years, did you get into this like, man, I want to be a high school coach. I take pride in being.
You know what, man? I'm gonna be very. We got. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Travis, you're breaking up on me. I can't hear you, Travis.
Trav, you cut out.
Me, or is it a breakup?
I don't know. You just break out. You kind of froze up on the screen too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Travis. Kind of repeat a little bit of the last part.
So just basically, like, when you go back 20 years, like, what was your initial goals as a coach? Like, did you plan on being there? Was this the career? Did you arrive? Like, this is what I want to do. This is my life goal. Or did it just life work itself out?
Man, it's just how, you know, God, man, honestly, it's funny because I was just talking to my wife about this. I stumbled into coaching. I was in corporate America, trying to make all the money that I can, man. I was fast tracking corporate America, and I found myself doing some mentoring. And and a friend of mine talked me into becoming a big brother. And my little brother at the time, he was in 7th grade, and he heard that they were not going to be able to have a team because they didn't have a coach. And so he was like, man, my big brother likes basketball. He played. He'll coach us. And so he volunteered me. And I tell people, I became a big brother expecting to impact the life of a 13-year-old young man. And this kid changed my life. And so I left 1 year of high school basketball. I coached in the ABA minor league professional basketball for a year. And I mean, I had a guy come in, man, we did the minor league thing, invested $1 million in the team, you know, and that 1 year of doing that told me that I was a high school basketball coach. And what I found out, you know, everybody else would say, why you don't go to the next level? But what I found out, man, is like God put me here. He gives me a 13 or 14-year-old boy who leads me as a 18-year-old young man. I am dad. I am a father to 85% of the kids that I've coached the last 20 years. They call me Pops. I am their father. And so, you know, I mean, so it would have been nice. I mean, and to be honest with you, when my son was being recruited, my son played on 4 championship teams. When my son was being recruited, a lot of people tried to get us as a package deal, right? And my position was this: either you don't think my son can play or you don't think I can coach. But we're not a package deal. And so that was my opportunity when he went to, you know, when he was going through the process and he went on to play at Oklahoma. So I had an opportunity back then if I wanted to do it. But, you know, but like I'm saying, I mean, like, and I don't know about you, Travis, but at this stage in my life, and maybe some of you guys, like, I'm a head coach, man. And I ain't going to have no dude hollering at me, you know what I'm saying, about doing stuff. And so you're a young guy, so you got time, man. But, like, man, I done been at some of these practices, and I ain't going to have nobody telling me to shut up. And, you know, like I'm one of the kids. It just won't work at this stage. So.
Yeah, no, I just found everything you. And when I say I looked in the mirror and just getting to know you and being in our Zoom meetings that we've been in and the way we've talked and communicated, I was like, dang, it's scary, man. It's scary. But for me, like I stumbled into coaching, but when I got into coaching, I wanted to do it at the highest level, and that's my goal. So I was just curious about your thought process along the way.
Yeah. I mean, no, man. I swear, I love, man. I mean, like some of the kids that I've had, you know, and it's funny, man, because people will tell you here in Minneapolis, like, I get kids that come to me where, you know, they got issues, right? And so they good players or whatever, but nobody want to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? But like, I tell them, man, like, I'm doing this because somebody gave me a second chance. So, but what I look back on, man, like my life, like it just seemed like all the steps that I took, God was preparing me to do this. So, but at this stage, man, I just love high school basketball.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. It's commendable, and I'm glad I jumped on this call to listen to you speak and learn more about your program. It give me some encouragement to keep doing what I do.
Absolutely.
And just wait for the time to end up in a position I want to end up in and impacting guys. So I appreciate it.
I mean, you're gonna have, you know what I'm saying? If you do this right, you're gonna have opportunities. Like I said, man. I mean, you know, man, I got stories, man. But with having 31 Division I kids, obviously, you know what I'm saying? There's been people that want to make deals, but that's just, you know, I tell people, to be honest with you, man, I don't know. I mean, hopefully I don't offend anybody, but I'm a believer. But it's just, you're a special place, man. Only 5% of most people that's living actually ever really realize their purpose. And so to be in a special group, to really know what God put you on earth to do, you know what I'm saying, and to do that with fidelity, I just see that as a blessing. Any other questions?
Coach, talk a little bit more, if you will, about the requirement. I found it very interesting, and I did not know that you have for your assistant coaches that it's mandatory that they attend those webinars or those seminars, and the impact that has on your players as a result of that.
Well, the thing about it is, like I said, I mean, leadership starts at the top, right? How you going, and you know how we are, right? I mean, first thing come October or open gym, you want, okay, we know guys, we're going to see who's been in the gym. We're going to see who's been committed, who in the 10,000 shot club. We getting on the kids, man, about, their commitment off season and all that kind of stuff. Well, what did you do? So one of the things that I did from the beginning, like, hey, and my goal is, I mean, so like Travis, man, I tell people, I want to be the program in Minnesota and around the country that people want to emulate. So if you're going to be the best, man, we're going to set the bar high, right? And so therefore, in your contract, if you want to remain on my staff, and this is the crazy thing, my coaching staff, I added a couple young people this year, but my two top assistants, one's been with me for 20 years, the other one's been with me for 17 years. They every single year, you will not, and I have let people go. If you don't do your 2 clinics in the spring and the fall and provide evidence, I can't bring you back. I can't bring you back because I can't expect my kids to be committed and my staff not be committed. So they sign it in their matter of fact, I'll provide that. I got a second document, but I also have a contract that my assistant coaches have to sign. I hold everybody accountable.
So talk, if you will, about, I like the letter that is sent out to the staff, to the school and administration. Have you encountered situations where a teacher or somebody was not helping with that, and how did you deal with that?
I've been blessed. I've never had, so we send out a form every Wednesday. Our kids carry it around. It's our grade check-in, right? I'm trying to figure out a way. So if any of you guys got ideas about how to do that electronically, I haven't figured that out. But so right now, old school, they have to put the kids' grade on it, and they put the grade on it. They give me an update about what's going on that week, whether they've been on their phones or all of that kind of stuff. But my principal and my AD, and also at the beginning of the year when I sent the letter out, I asked could I participate in the staff meeting. And the thing about it is, it's building a team, right? And what I tell parents and administration and teachers, like, we're all in this team together. We want to help Mendo be successful. And so I need you to help me help him, right? And I mean, it's not about us. It's about what we do at North High. It's about what we do at the high school. And so I'm going to tell you, and here's the thing about it is, I'm the only coach in my building that do that. Man, basketball season, the kids love it because the teachers also know when I say that if you have a D, so they know if they tell the kids, we gonna just tell coach, you're not doing what you need to do, you're not gonna play, they ain't gonna have no problem out of those kids either. I'm telling you, man, referrals, behavior, all of that stuff go down during basketball season because of our accountability. And Travis can tell you, he was on with one of my players the other night. It just changes the whole way that they deal with my kids.
Facts. It's great, man. And coach, we got to collaborate afterwards. I got some academic things that I do that I think can help you with the grade monitoring process. What we call the family tree, right? The family tree is that we find teachers in the building that's helpful, and then we make them the parent, the mom or the dad of like two students, two players on the team, and that's not a mentor, or is a mentor. It's not a tutor.
Okay.
And then they report to them, so that way you get some help and you get some faculty involvement also. But I can explain it to you more on a different, on just a personal.
Yeah, we'll get on a separate call. I appreciate it. Yeah, because like I say, I'm trying to, you know, you. One thing, I mean, as an educator, I know like none of us want something extra to do. You know what I'm saying? And it does take time to fill out the grade and sign it and that kind of stuff. But it's in the best interest of the kids. And like I say, nobody want to be the one that I ain't gonna do that. You know, nobody want to be the one that don't help the kids. So that's it works. So I have not had anybody in those 21 years to say I'm not doing it. Any other questions?
All right, well, Coach, it is 5 o'clock our time right now. If anybody else, if there's no other questions, you are free to share your information. If people want to reach out to you, want to get, pick your brain on stuff. I know I already have it, so I'm good. Travis apparently has it too. So anybody else I want that information, I strongly recommend. There's a wealth of knowledge with Coach McKenzie that you can get information from. So if you want to share your stuff, Coach, go right ahead.
Yeah. So I apologize that we had some technical difficulties as well, and so hopefully, but like I say, I'm available. I'll just give you my simplest email, Coach McKenzie, the number 1 @gmail.com. If people want to reach out, phone number is 763-458-5450. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, all of those social medias. And then my website is www.coachmckenzie.com. And so, you know, I always, like I say, I've been blessed to have some really good veteran coaches pour into my life. Most of the stuff I do, Travis, I stole from somebody and just put it all together. So I'm willing to share, you know, whatever I have. And I tell people all the time, I even tell coaches in my conference, man, I'll give you my playbook. I ain't worried about it because my kids still got to execute. So I don't have no secrets.
And to that, they always say what?
Nobody's asked for it yet.
I actually used to always say the same thing. My guys still have to execute at the end of it.
Yeah, you got to execute. I mean, and let's be honest with you. I mean, if you're a good coach, you know, I mean, who watch, I got this crazy number, and I don't know if any of y'all, like, I don't go to sleep. So we upload our stuff to Huddle. We used to do crossover, but I don't go to sleep until I've watched the game. And so, you know, I immediately have to come home, write down my notes, watch the game, and then I go to bed. So if you're a good coach, you got everything.
You know what's coming anyway.
Right, you got my stuff anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're one of them dudes that just show up and play, and then, I mean, you ain't got a chance then.
Coach, I just want to jump in real quick. I didn't have a question, but I did want to take a second to say thank you for taking the time to do this, and I really enjoyed your presentation. And just wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Menelik Fernandez. I'm up here in Canada at Fleming College, and I've traditionally not really been a big proponent of like motivation and culture type guy, and like for a presentation to captivate my attention that is based on something like that, I know you're doing an excellent job down there, and I've taken a few notes in here from some things that I've liked. And I also want to congratulate you on your graduation rate. That is truly incredible.
So let me say this, Coach, and I hear you about the cultural thing, but I'm going to tell you, if I was one thing that I would say to anybody on here, your locker room culture is the most important thing that you have. And you have to protect that at all costs. And I tell every program, you know, I consider myself, so every program that I've gone into previously, when I took this job, they hadn't won but 3 games in 3 years. Now we just won our 7th consecutive conference title. But what I'm saying is you have to protect that locker room. And you got to get your kids and the leadership that somebody is messaging your message when you're not around. I'm just a big believer in that. That culture. And so that's the first thing that I do is go in and, figure out how to change the culture. Because, and like now, I mean, Travis, you can probably speak to this a little bit. I mean, some of you guys have been doing this, but like at the beginning of the season, so a couple things that I didn't talk about. I have never cut anybody in 21 years. And the reason that I've never had to cut, in order to try out for my program, if you play varsity or JV, my perimeter guys got to do a 6-minute mile. My post guys got to do a 6:30 mile. So if you're not serious about basketball, you're not going to try out. You got to do that to try out. And so you eliminate some of the long set. But I'm saying that is my upperclassmen at the beginning of the year, and I tell people like I don't allow my kids to use the N-word around me. They can't play it in the music and that kind of stuff. Well, they make sure they gather all the young guys. They have a meeting before I meet with them to say, don't do this and that around coach. I don't let my kids wear hats in the building and that kind of stuff. So my upperclassmen, they make sure that the young guys know, because they don't want to have to hit their graveyard 6 o'clock in the morning. You see what I'm saying? So they make sure the young guys don't say this, don't do this. So they manage the locker room, and then they just keep passed on. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it made coaching a whole lot easier when you ain't got to do those things.
Let me briefly clarify. I don't mean that I don't believe in the value of culture. I mean, usually talks that are on things about.
Oh, gotcha, coach.
Yeah. Sometimes my mind is just like, I'm gone, but you had me the whole way through.
I appreciate that. Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. We're going to call it a day. Coach McKenzie, as always, thank you so much. I cannot wait to come down Minneapolis and check out a few practices and games next year. And, yes, we're going to have games. I'm calling it right now.
I'm definitely believing that.
And we'll definitely stay in touch. We'll keep talking, man. Thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you guys for having me. Travis, reach out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll text you as soon as we finish, and then when you get some time to get settled with everything going on in the world, we can talk. I want to talk consistently. I think I can learn a lot from you. I can grow from you, man. You a seed that's been planted for me, so I'm about to take advantage of it.
Well, I want to offer that to everybody, man. I mean, like I say, guys have my email and my number, so feel free to reach out. If I could be of any help, any of the materials that I have or anything like that if I got it, it's yours. So thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. Take care of yourself and be safe out there. I know it gets crazy in our city.
All right. Thank you.
All right, my man.
All right, no.